Now, I heard a while back that up to 20%, 1 in 5 CDLs, which is these are the people driving the big semis down the road. Up to 20% are undocumented immigrants. Is that true?
That is true. And that was confirmed by the Department of Transportation.
I'm usually kind of loyal.
Kind of going back to that old girlfriend that you're used to. And
well, my wife, when I told her, I said, I think it's loyalty. She said, I'm your third wife.
Okay.
It stops right there.
Okay.
And so
you can do that as Secretary of State. You can do that.
We can do that at the registration process. If you don't have the proper identification.
A vote for Diane Harris might be a voter for election integrity?
A vote for Diane Harris is a vote for election integrity.
Them firemen, they get all the pretty girls. They do. I don't know why.
Welcome to Around Will County. Today, we're talking with Diane Harris, the Republican nominee for Illinois Secretary of State. She's a Joliet native with a long record of local service. Joliet Junior College trustee, precinct committeeman, former small business owner, and she's running on making the DMV and related services faster, fairer, and more accessible statewide. We'll dig into what's working or not currently at the Secretary of State's office, the real-world frustrations people run into, and what Diane Harris says she'd change if elected. How is the Secretary of State's office working for you? When you deal with licenses, registrations, or other services, do you feel like you're getting your tax dollars worth? Drop us a comment right now and tell us what works and what you'd fix tomorrow if you could. Stick around as we explore these topics and more with the Republican candidate for Secretary of State, Diane Harris. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and please subscribe.
All right, here we go. Are we good? IT? All right, we're going to slowly walk into this. All right. So here we are back at the Round Will County podcast. Dickie Tyler, how you doing, sir?
Doing fine.
We're going to cover something again. Rumor is you bought a new car.
I traded in the old one.
Yeah. Now, the old one was a Subaru that you bought roughly a year ago.
Just a couple days short
of a year. And let's be honest, you hated that car. Well, we're not going to get Subaru sponsorship here, but you really didn't like that car, did you?
The honeymoon was still on.
Okay. All right.
Till today.
All right. But you had a couple flat tires and it kind of seemed a little, what?
Can't blame the car for the flat tire.
No. All right. All right.
I just had Hondas before. I was happy with them.
So the change didn't really sit with you and you just wanted to go back to what you were familiar with.
I'm usually kind of loyal.
Kind of going back to that old girlfriend that you're used to. And
well, my wife, when I told her, I said, I think it's loyalty. And she said, I'm your third wife.
Loyalty might not be your strong point.
When it comes to cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I do want to remind you, it was your daughter's birthday the other day. And I told her that you were going to give her the Subaru and you were going to go buy a new Corvette. Didn't quite work out that way.
The message didn't come through.
Well, we should have got that message to you. Well, enjoy your new Honda. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do have a very, very special guest here today. Someone that I really admire and respect and always is the best dressed woman in the room.
Yep.
Always beautiful. Diane Harris, our Republican candidate for Secretary of State.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you
very much for allowing me to be here. I have to say, dressing is like a profession.
Mm-hmm.
Having the dress shop, I made sales. So that was my marketing tactic.
Yeah.
It's not just something I like. It was business.
Well, but don't you touch on something there because and we talked a little bit before the show, you said you've always enjoyed dressing up and looking nice and then you have a dress shop. I mean, that's kind of bringing your passion to work with you.
Yeah, it is. Always enjoyed it. When I was young, I think that's all I ever did.
Yeah.
And I was always shopping.
Yeah.
And as you get older, it's not just shopping for fun. It becomes power shop.
Okay.
You know, you don't get into the trendy type of things, but you get into things that you can work with in the future.
Okay.
You know, and I still find, not now, but I still found myself doing that. Oh, now that will work with that suit I've had for 10 years.
Okay.
You know, with that,
yeah.
this skirt set. Oh, this will be perfect to wear over. And it just works perfect. It just, you know, it was a stress reliever. I enjoy doing it. That's why you call it power shopping, because you're there for more than one reason, to relieve the stress and to look good when you put it together. It's like
Yes.
you know, coordination, and you're like, oh, I matched the piece. This is perfect. That's it. I'll call it a day.
Well, it worked because you always looked so beautiful. Every event, you always look so fantastic.
Well, thank you so much.
I do have to tell you, you're probably losing that conversation with us three guys. I mean, I pulled these shorts off the floor today. I don't know. So I don't know if we're going to quite follow along. But and you were a small business owner.
Yeah.
Downtown Joliet.
Downtown Joliet.
Yeah.
It is amazing. A boutique.
Yeah.
Downtown Joliet.
Okay.
Right in the heart of Joliet, actually, across the street from Chicago Street Pub.
It's still there?
No, that was during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And I weathered the COVID storm.
Okay.
But then they started the renovation, the downtown renovation
Oh,
project.
sure. That had to hurt so many businesses down
Yeah,
there.
it really did. And I had a lot of sewer backup, sewer. And my landlord, I mean, he really worked with me for a long time. But
Yeah.
they realized that it's going to continue, and there's really nothing they can do until they're done.
Oh.
And so he says, you know, I don't know if I want to renew this lease.
Yeah.
Every time I called him, it cost him.
Sure.
You know, but I couldn't, work in the store like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then the smell. So it was somewhat of a bittersweet blessing.
Yeah.
You know, one of those kind of things, But I called him. It was almost like every day, especially when they started, the digging down.
Yeah. That went on for quite a while.
A year.
A year. And when you're a little small business, downtown Joliet, probably tough enough as it is on any given day.
Yeah.
You got Chicago Street Bar and Grill down there. Mike Trisna and his wife, they do a fantastic job. We love that place. Yeah, Mike Trisna, give him a shout out, and his beautiful wife, and great little business, Chicago Street Bar and Grill. Yeah.
Call on the phone. I'm like, hey, I'm running over with your soup today.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be doing that too. Yeah.
It was nice.
But they all struggled. Tough when you tear up the street in front of your business for a year. Yeah.
In the park,
parking.
There was no place to park. It was, I guess for me, every business has its season.
Yeah.
And, in the clothing industry, I went in there, with a handicap because I had Amazon and online shopping already against me.
Yeah.
So it was just something that I wanted to do and wanted to see the people and, kind of reach out to people that still like to feel the fabric.
Yeah.
But those people were really hard to find.
Yeah.
Because
it's a passion.
Can't beat the online shop, comes to the door, put it on and go out.
Yes.
So,
and it's funny because I've talked to some of the people who have shopped at your shop and they were very loyal. They were very loyal. They loved your shop. They loved going there. They loved the experience. They loved the boutique.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed people. Because I was retired, right? And I'm still retired.
Yeah, where'd you retire from?
ComEd.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked as a liability rep, the first female in Southern Division to hold that job, where we investigated underground property damage.
Oh.
So, where you see all of the red flags and the yellow flags along the road or in individuals' yards. And then the backhoe comes in and pulls up that cable and knocks out a whole grid of people. Then they call the underground property investigators. And
to see if it wasn't marked correctly or, right?
Yeah.
So, because you called Julie to get everything marked, right? Yeah.
So you would see me along sometimes the expressway. It just depends on where the damage was. And I have my wheel and I'm rolling the wheel to get the measurements, the hard hat, the steel toes, the whole.
All right. You're out in the field.
People blowing and I'm like, don't blow at me. I'm working.
Yeah,
They want to look. Or,
yeah.
I don't know if they're blowing to say hello or
Yeah.
get out of the way.
You're probably dressed nice out there in the
Well,
snow.
I had the ComEd uniform.
Okay. All right. Not the boutique dress out there checking the snow. So good. And how long did you do that?
About 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I worked for the company's 32.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I was in customer service. And
wow.
And then I left customer service and went into the credit department, where we would authorize connect and, stuff like that. I even worked outdoors doing disconnect.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Turning the power
that was
off.
Early in the career. Yeah, I got a big kick out of it, trying to get in, pull the meter and get out before There are a lot of girls in there doing that.
Great place to work, though, right? I mean, the people who get a ComEd job, when I was growing up, that's, ComEd, NIGAS, and Illinois Bell, or, a city job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great place to work. 32 years. Good for you. Started when you were 12 years old.
24. I always took the jobs that had the better pension payout.
Oh, okay. Well, smart. That worked out good.
I figured eventually I'm going to retire. I'll take those opportunities, but they weren't always safe.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful, to God that he brought me home safe.
That's awesome. Yeah. And where'd you grow up?
Joliet.
Did you grow up?
South side of Joliet.
South side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
South side of Joliet. Currently where the new Riverwalk apartment or houses are.
Broadway? 358 Broadway or Bluff Street?
No.
Or you're talking Des Plaines?
Des Plaines.
Oh, like the 300 block of Des Plaines?
Yeah.
You grew up there?
I sure did.
Oh, good for you. Good.
I am a product of a housing project.
Wow. I did not know this.
I lived in the housing project on Des Plaines.
Yes. Okay.
And at that time, you had to be married, had to be a husband and a wife.
Okay.
And you had to, one parent had to be home during the day. They had a lot of restrictions.
Really? Okay. Wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
So what year? I'm just curious what about rough.
63.
Okay. All right. Gosh, I didn't even know that was there in 63. So it was. Okay.
Yeah. So they tore them down.
And they built new single family homes.
Single family homes in there. And there are a lot of people that I run into that I knew.
Oh.
From back then.
Yeah. So are you an American success story then? I mean, come on, came out of the projects, got a great job at ComEd. Now you're independently wealthy, living a dream, the American dream.
Running for Secretary of State.
Running for Illinois Secretary. Yeah. Running for Illinois Secretary of State. That's the American dream. Good for you.
Yeah. And the Secretary of State's office, and I always say that because it was such a special governmental department.
Yeah.
It was more of a family business because every family, even today, has to use the Secretary of State office.
Okay.
No matter what capacity, if you're driving, if you're going to be an organ donor, small business, you're filing for some kind of death certificate in terms of how you want it reported. And it's just one of those businesses that's governmental, but it was a friendly government business.
Right.
Totally different today.
Kind of changed.
Totally.
What happened
today?
What happened?
Well, I think you get different leadership that is not focused on the people first agenda.
Okay.
And that changes it, and then it gets too politicized.
Right.
And then you don't see that for the people anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. Everybody, when I'm along the campaign trail, they never mention my opponent. They always talk about
Jesse White. Sure, Jesse White. Well, he was there 125 years, right? I mean, he was there for forever, wasn't he?
And,
the last 10, it was like a weekend with Bernie. I mean, they just rolled him out and,
But he
was,
do
a couple flips in the air.
Yeah, he's got the tumblers.
Yeah. So,
but he did a great job. I mean, I got to give him credit. It seemed like he did a nice job. Very well liked, very well respected.
Yeah. That is the interesting part because he was Democrat.
He was, yes.
But I think
probably still is.
I think he captured all of the votes from both sides.
Yes.
Because of the nature of the business.
Mhm.
Maybe he kept it as a people-friendly business
Yeah.
that served the people as opposed to politics.
Okay.
He had people's
and-
respect, both
Yeah.
parties.
Yes,
And
right.
It kind of eliminated the party
The party politics.
Affiliation.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I think that has just changed the party polarization so much now, right?
Yeah.
All the way down, Republican versus Democrat. I mean, it's a shame.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could also argue the Democrat Party is not the John F. Kennedy Party of Democrats anymore.
Well, that's true.
You know,
That's true.
because let's face it, you're a Republican.
Well, that's true.
What
That's
makes
true.
you a Republican?
You know,
Because you don't fit the stereotype. I don't know if you know this.
I know. I
Yeah.
do know that, Jim. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, and I don't have it on today because I'm here, but I have the Illinois Republican button.
Yeah.
And I usually wear that when I wear my name
Okay.
because I do a lot of door knocking. And so when I knock on the door, they automatically think I'm Democrat.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
You know,
Sure.
and we all know why, because, you know, I guess traditionally African Americans are Democrat.
Mhm.
You know, so I have to identify just so I can get my message out.
Sure.
Otherwise, they shut the door.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not interested. I'm like, well, you might be because you're on my list.
Yeah.
You know, as
Yeah.
a Republican. You
Yeah.
know, it's.
Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think the majority of Democrats or African American are Democrats? Why? Tell me why that happened.
And I don't know if that's what it is that the majority are in this area. They are.
Okay.
And it could very well be the stronghold in this area.
Okay.
You know, especially Cook County, because they have a stronghold.
They do.
And there are more lower income
Mhm.
that I think they have their ear,
Okay.
as opposed to, you know, maybe when you get further south and, you know,
Mhm.
they always say beyond south of 80.
South of 80.
You know,
Okay.
south of 80.
Yeah.
So
Is that starting to change a little bit?
well, I really hope so. I really hope so. It's so hard to say because when I was running for Senate, I felt that I had really, really conquered that in my area,
Mhm.
you know, as far as maybe the Democrats being African American, but will not ever vote Republican. I
Mhm.
thought I had put the message out there enough to be able to capture, you know, some of the African American vote, even though I'm Republican.
Sure.
But because of the stronghold
Mhm.
and the literature that was sent and the money that's put behind, you know, the party,
Mhm.
it just it's hard to say. I want to say that their beliefs in the party are stronger than the belief in the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's a better
Yeah.
way to put it.
Is that starting to change, though? Are we? I
Well-
mean, let's face it.
I'd like to think it is based on what we're dealing with now.
Based on illegal immigration.
I was going to say, based on what we're dealing with now, illegal immigration, because African Americans, I have to say, are probably identifying as becoming third in the line of representation.
Okay. Who's
because,
first?
well, Caucasian.
Okay. Who's
Then-
two?
Well, now, because of the numbers
Immigration?
in the illegal immigration,
Okay.
you have Hispanic
Okay.
and then African American.
Okay. But
You know-
who kind of put the African American down to third? The Democrat Party,
Well, I
who
could
brought in
say
4 million
who brought-
immigrants
brought in
into the state of Illinois.
immigrants into the state of Illinois and allowed the registration
Mhm.
for driving and voting.
Right. Right.
So automatically,
Mhm.
you know, so they're voting in that capacity.
Sure.
And those are not the privileges that we prefer as
Right.
African Americans to
Right.
be left behind.
Never.
You know, we've been fighing for centuries
Yes.
not to be left behind.
Sure.
But when a different group of individuals come into the country and to be illegal,
And then immediately the representation being the Democrat Party kind of puts you in the back burner to put those people in front of them. Because we've seen this in Chicago, right? And let's bring up the fact we're spending $400 million in the Illinois budget for immigrants, illegal immigrants. Now, let me remind you, the Will County Senior Services is filing for bankruptcy. They don't have money to keep going. Well, they're saying they're staying open. I don't know how, but we got $400 million for illegal immigrants. So they're being put in the front. And we're seeing social services, SNAP benefits, housing benefits, healthcare benefits. Those are being cut in the African-American community and being replaced by illegal immigrants. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do I have that correct?
Illegal immigrants, housing,
healthcare, doctor. Would that be true? Healthcare. Are you seeing immigrants getting healthcare?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, I know you chuckle, but that's crazy.
They have to go somewhere. I mean, they get sick or they have a baby. They still have to come to the hospital.
Right.
And then we have to take care of them.
Right. And, and I don't mean to disparage on immigrants. Our country's, founded on immigration.
Immigration.
And they're here now. We have to address that issue. Yes, sir.
I would just say, so we're not painting them with the
broad
brush.
Right.
It's not the Hispanic group as much as it's the illegal, legal. That's the distinction. It could be Irish, Danish, maybe not Danish and Danish, but no, it's just that it's legal or it's illegal.
Sure.
And if we're going to not enforce the laws, then eliminate that law. If you're not going to enforce the law, we shouldn't have a law in the books, or it should be modified, because what message do we send out to this?
Are you talking the immigration law?
Yes.
No, boss, I'm sure you're not saying you're not a proud supporter of the immigration law, that we have to have laws and we have to have borders and we have to have places that are safe from just being overtaken by, we cannot open our borders. I find it, I'm an Irish Catholic, and the hypocrisy of the Pope to come out and just, bash America for questioning the illegal immigrants who are coming into our country. Can you walk into Vatican City without going through a gate and a fence? I mean, is that, you know what I mean? The hypocrisy. And it's a tough topic, but we see where your community, your African community, is being put on the back burner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that the organization called Chicago Flipped Red.
Yes.
I think they are doing a phenomenal job.
Good.
Pointing it out.
Good.
And it's going to take, no matter who it is or what organization, for someone to point it out and for it to be acknowledged as to why it's happening. Because, you know it's happening, but you're not putting together that the vote could stop it.
Yeah. The vote has power.
The vote has power.
Yes.
The vote can stop it. And I think when the borders were reopened, after, I think, the last election when Biden
was in office,
and they opened the borders again, that's where we saw the fluctuation of many, many immigrants. And then we started noticing the benefits, all all to reverse what was done, because it was starting to work.
Yeah.
But, now we're really feeling the effects of it. Yeah. I think that's how the changes will be made, because African Americans do notice, and they are noticing big time.
Right.
But we just hope and pray that the vote will go in that favor.
Right.
Because there are so many influences, sometimes it's called racism.
All right. That's that word is used so loosely nowadays. It has absolutely zero meaning. Yeah. Right. I mean, anytime we don't like something, you said something I don't like, you're a racist.
Yeah.
And that goes from white to black, black to white. I mean, it's just the most overused words in that country right now.
So if we can focus on the issues and the effects of them.
Okay. But what are the issues in the African American community?
The fact that there are homeless African Americans,
Sure,
homeless veterans for that sake. And when you have two people on the street, you have a Hispanic homeless, or if they even get to that part, they may not even get to be homeless. They get in the door and are placed.
So is that true where illegal immigrants are coming into our country and they're given right away a card for like $3,000 a month spending money? They're given a home or a place to live or sleep at night and kind of being put to the front of the line. Is that true?
Yeah, my understanding, and I haven't done a lot of research on it because it wasn't about Secretary of State. But what I do know is they come in and there is, if you're in a sanctuary city, they have,
like Chicago.
Yes, they have partnerships with organizations that they can send these individuals to, and they have placement. And the placement offers opportunities, and they're able to, I guess, be away from unsafe, for example, roof over their head.
Sure.
And food to eat for the, nourishment of the body.
Sure.
And possibly job opportunity.
Okay.
And that's probably where the license, the CDL issue came from.
All right.
But to answer your question, the partnerships, that are probably government grant funded. We have a lot of those 501(c)(3) charitable organizations.
Okay.
Whether they're Hispanic or African American or whatever, they're there. And they would be bound by the guidelines, and it would be okay because we're sanctuary city.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is some truth in that because that's what those organizations are there to do.
Sure. Why do you think Governor J.B. Pritzker brought in 20 million illegal immigrants into the state of Illinois? Why do you think he did that?
Well,
he's such a great guy.
Caring
guy.
Giving.
Well, it said it's a humanitarian.
Do you believe that
issue? Well, no, because
you have common sense.
Charity begins at home, and nothing negative about the individuals that they brought in, but you have to deal with your people here.
Yes,
that have.
And he wasn't doing a good job at that.
He was not doing a good job at that, and still isn't, because when we look at our tax bill,
57 times he has incorporated 57 new taxes since 2017.
Yeah. And
he's keeping busy.
He's keeping busy.
Yeah.
When you like to know where that money's going.
Busy. There's a good busy. There's a useless busy.
So now, Miss Harris, you grew up in subsidized housing.
I grew up in, I guess you call it public housing.
Okay.
My father worked. My mother was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And there were only two of us, so that made it a little easier.
Brother, sister?
Yeah, brother.
All right.
Just he and I.
All right. Still around?
Yes, my brother.
You like him?
Yeah. I love him. But he's one of those.
He's a brother. Is he older?
Yeah,
he's older brother.
Yeah,
enough said, right?
Enough
said. Yeah.
She said, but you know that everything before the but doesn't count.
Okay, I love him, but okay, I get it.
Too overprotective.
Yeah.
And
God bless
him. Stay out of my business type. That's my favorite word.
He'll still be your older brother, though. Yeah.
Stay out of my business.
Yeah.
And not to get in his business, but when he moved from South and came back here after his family, you know how that goes.
Sure.
I let him, stay with me.
Sure.
And that's my only brother. And on my mother's deathbed, she says, "You make sure you watch it, brother."
Oh, she told you to watch out for him. Okay, I think we got this figured out. Yeah.
I said, I will.
Yeah.
So I'd go, he would be at the house, and when I come back, he'd be awake, waiting. kind of late for you to be out.
Oh, good for him.
I'm like, are you serious?
Good for him.
I said, are you waiting up?
Good
That
for
went
him.
on too much.
Yeah.
I got so sick of him. I said, listen. You have to stop. I said, you are worse than a husband.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good guy.
Yeah, sounds like a great guy. I want to meet him. Bring him out. When are you going to bring him out?
And he is a fisherman.
Oh, I don't know. I might know a place where he can fish. I don't know. Yeah. That's awesome.
But he's my older brother. But we grew up down on the South End, and there were many people, many families were there, and there were stipulations. If you made a certain amount of money, then you had to go.
Oh,
so, and that's still the same today. But here's the difference: the people don't want to make more. Oh, I can't make more. I may not be able to live.
Oh my God, Miss Harris, you just touched on something. Is that counterproductive?
Of course it's counterproductive.
Kind of teaching those people, whoever they are, that don't make any more money. You want that free housing? Just stop making money.
Stop making money.
Does that make sense?
So, no, it doesn't make sense at all, because what we used to see is, a family would move out, and, younger, you hear say, oh, Mr. Jones must have got a raise. He's got to move out next week, because he's made too much money for the housing.
My goodness.
And I remember when we moved out, and we moved over to the east side of Joliet, over by Washington Junior High.
Okay.
Richardson Second.
Sure.
We moved over there.
Yeah.
That area was growing really, really big too. But I will say one thing, and I was just getting out of high school, and to your
There's 10
comment.
years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was that?
To your comment
85, 86, right in there somewhere.
About the Corvette, we moved from the housing project, and the first job I got right out of high school was at City Hall.
At Joliet?
Yeah, Joliet
Oh,
City
wow.
Hall. Yeah,
Okay.
Joliet City Hall. Because I was at Central, and they had, I guess it was DEI.
Oh.
Because they were looking for an African American, a Hispanic, and a white person.
Okay.
So there were 3 girls, 3 of us. And so we were placed, and I chose City Hall.
All right.
And I don't know, don't ask me why. Probably because, history and physics, public service in the high school. So I chose City Hall. And so when I went to work there, we had already moved out of the housing project. And first car I bought, was a Corvette.
Get out of here. Your first car. What year?
1976. Corvette, brand new. And
what color?
Wow.
White.
White. Oh, I bet that got you back and forth to City Hall pretty quick.
Yeah, it sure did. And you know what's funny? Because the only reason why, because I used to go to Central with Billy Jacobs. You remember Bill
Jacobs? Oh, God, yeah, sure.
So, and he used to always talk about cars. Yeah, when you guys, everybody in the class.
Wait, you guys an item?
No,
come on.
No, he had a girlfriend. Renee.
Wasn't a fanatic about it, though, was he?
No, he was. Renee Aversa, Aversa's clothing store.
Oh, okay.
You remember that store?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, whoever's listening, they will remember all of this. And
was it downtown Joliet?
It was. Yes, it was downtown.
All right.
Joliet.
By the White Store, or what was the White Store?
Probably around where
Sears.
Cut.
Oh, Cut wasn't 54.
Around in there.
The Mode or Rialto.
It was probably around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful clothes.
Yeah.
But
wait, who was the other? I'm sorry. Who was that clothing store down there? There was a clothing store there.
Al Baskin.
Fitwell or something. I think he was.
Well, Al Baskin was on
Al Baskin?
the other side of the street. Bernard's.
Bernard's. Yeah,
okay.
That's where my mother used to go.
Bernard's. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All along in there.
Yeah. Oh, you're bringing back some great memories.
Great memories. But anyway, when I bought that car, my dad said, did you get your insurance? And at that time, I guess you could take it home and get insurance later. It wasn't like it was now. But Billy had talked about, he says, make sure when you get ready to buy a car, you come buy a car for me. Buy a car for me. And I'm like, I'm going to buy a new car. I got the check from City Hall, and it was a substantial amount. The job was good, and I was going to be there to stay. Right? And sure enough, I went and got the car. And the insurance
That's what
was
killed you.
more than the car. But I had already bought it. You know, my dad says, were you really thinking? He says, you should have told me you were going to go buy a car. But I just couldn't wait to get a car.
Did you buy it from Billy?
I did not.
Oh, I bet that was a bit of a contention.
He was gone away to college.
Oh, Billy was?
Because he was 1 year older. So he was already gone away to college. But I still went to Bill Jacobs and bought the car. Oh,
you did buy it from Bill Jacobs? I got this picture in my head of a young Diane Harris whipping around Joliet in this white Corvette.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks like nothing good would have came out of that. Hanging out at the Frost, the place on Cass Street?
Silverfrost.
Silverfrost.
You know where I used to hang out at? The name of that place. Across the street from Earl.
Flicks or Netflix.
Earl's.
Oh, Earl's. Oh, all right. That's probably Mr. Tyler. Anything you want to talk about there? Maybe you two know each other. Earl's. Yeah.
I used to go there.
Yeah. And he's a big Corvette guy. I think we got a couple kindred spirits here.
I think we do.
Yeah.
But love the car, but on that rack and Indian steering, I couldn't do anything with that. You know, I'd have to go really slow because, you know, I had to get comfortable with it.
Right.
And then I ended up getting married and, you know, I got rid of the car.
He made you, didn't he? He didn't want you whipping around town in that car anymore. He bought you a minivan, didn't he?
No, let me tell you. There's one good thing about that. And this is
it got you a husband.
This is really crazy. But I met him at a car show.
There you go.
And he had a Corvette.
There you go. All right. There you go. So it worked out okay. It was an investment. Yeah. It worked out good.
Did he get rid of his too?
No.
No, that's not fair. I like the guy already. And you get rid of yours. I'm not getting rid of mine. Yeah.
Well, that's why that marriage didn't last.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. What a great story.
Yeah. And all the police knew.
Oh, I bet they did. And I bet you knew all the policemen. Yeah. Who'd you know? Remember any names?
Let me try to remember.
Bunch of old names back then. Working at City Hall. Yeah.
Well, I don't remember the officer's name, but I do remember a fireman.
I always remember the damn firemen. Them guys, you know, it's just, I don't remember the cops. Send me the firemen.
He had a Mercedes Benz 2-seater. What's his name? Foster.
Oh, Jimmy Foster. Yeah. You and Jimmy,
real tall gentleman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Listen,
all right, now we're getting down to the bottom. We're getting some good stuff here on the Secretary of State.
How I met him. Remember, I was coming down.
You can remember the road.
Yeah, I remember this because there was a viaduct. And it was flooded.
Okay.
I have the Corvette. Now, this goes to show you, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about a car.
Right.
I figured, well, if I go fast.
Makes sense. Get through quicker.
I can get out of there, right?
Yeah. Right into the water.
Into the water, had to climb out of the window, walk to work, drenched. He, I believe, worked the midnight shift.
Here comes the fireman. I've heard this story 1,000 times.
And I told him, I said, well, I got to get into the office. I'm already late and I'm dressed. I couldn't go back home.
Right.
And so he says, give me the keys. He says, I'll help you out.
Right.
And sure enough, he helped me out. Yeah, I had the insurance, so they towed the car, you know, and then he brought the keys back to me. He says, Brindle's has it.
Okay.
You know, they got to dry it out.
Maybe I could drive you to dinner, and there you go. The rest is history.
No, but I never saw him again. But I will tell you the truth. I tried to make sure I came to work about that
every day, looking for Mr. Foster and then Jimmy Foster.
Just going
good for you. Them damn firemen, they get all the pretty girls. They do. I don't know why.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought I could get through that water.
Yeah, that don't work too good.
That water just came in, you know, and I said, man, I got to get out of this car. Window, walk to City Hall. You know, and I'm thinking, A mess.
Good for you. What makes you get into politics?
Well, that's where I started. That's where I started.
The viaduct?
City.
The water in the viaduct got you into politics? All right, here you go.
City Hall. Well, remember, that was my first job.
Sure.
And I
Who was the mayor? Berlinski?
No, God, no.
Who was
no, it was
Enderberry?
Enderberry?
No, it was Connor.
Oh, Connor,
And
okay.
then Burke.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think when I left, because I was only there about 8 years.
Right.
And then I left there and went to ComEd.
Right.
And I left there because of dirty politics.
No, come on.
Yeah.
No.
My parents said, you need to get out of there. You don't need to be in that environment.
Yeah.
And I don't want to disgrace anybody, but it was a bribe that took place.
No.
And
Hinch? Hinch? No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, give it up.
And,
you can't throw that out there without reeling it in. You got to tell us.
It was, it was a lot of individuals that were trying to get liquor license.
Okay. So they would come in, throw down $20
or whatever, and then they, the city found out, and it was just a lot going on. But I wasn't involved on that end of it.
It kind of explains how she afforded that Corvette.
Yeah.
I had that before. All right. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
So I used to work in accounting. Okay. And so in the accounting department, we prepared all the expenditures, all the payouts, and they had to be approved by the city council.
Okay.
So at that time, got to go to council meeting tonight, because we have the payouts. We have to make sure they approve. So when they approve, we check off and say, okay, the next day put them through so that they get mailed out.
Sure. Makes sense.
So at that time, the person that was always a true politician, when I really realized what a politician really was, George Tapella.
Oh.
The mortician.
All right.
Do you guys remember?
Tapella Funeral Home?
Yeah. George.
Yeah.
And this was the dad, I guess, the older guy.
I heard he had a very popular funeral home, though. People were dying to go there. Yeah, they were
dying to go there.
Yeah. Was that Center Street? I think it might have been. I think you're right. Yeah.
George Tapella. Yeah. And he would come in early. He'd come in, before the council meeting started.
Yeah.
He'd come in early. He'd come to the accounting department. Make sure you guys got my check.
Okay.
You're going to approve it. You're going to approve this. You're going to approve that. You're going to approve that. And just go, yeah, George, we got you. George, we got you. Until a couple of times, someone said, no, no, we didn't get that. We don't have that for you today. What? That's when the politics started. So he would go to another office and, and everybody would wait. So should we wait or should we go to the chambers? Is he going to come back? Do we have to make a change? And there were times when he pulled strings and that no was yes. And, it was there to be approved.
Okay.
And then there were times that it wasn't.
Yeah.
And didn't like it. But he was the only one that would come in there, walk through. He had his black overcoat. I can remember like it was just a big hat, and I remember that.
So that got you into politics.
Yeah. And then there was one good thing.
Yeah.
I was told in the parking department, no one gets away without paying their ticket.
Parking ticket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody gets away. So it was the clerk. So they come in and they pay. And I don't know if you remember, his name was Dan Demas.
Dan Demas.
He was from ComEd.
Oh, okay.
He was an executive from ComEd.
Okay.
Public affairs director.
All right.
Okay.
He got a parking ticket?
He got a parking ticket.
Is this leading to how you got to ComEd?
No. But it does go beyond there. When I got to ComEd, I ran into him. Yeah. When I got there, I did run into him too.
Okay.
But at City Hall, he says, he gave me the ticket and was walking off. And I said, this ticket has to be paid.
Yeah.
And then he says, I don't pay tickets.
Oh.
I'm like, what do you mean? I said, everybody pays tickets. And I was new.
Yeah.
But they just told me, everybody pays a ticket. They didn't say, when you have, maybe a elected official or a politician or some leader of the community that, theirs is
different.
handled it differently, right?
Yeah.
So I argued him back and forth.
All right.
And he says, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Well, who are you?" And he says, I think he told me, he says, "I am from ComEd."
Mm.
And I says, "Well, I was told that everybody pays a ticket." And he says, "Well, you need to go back to your supervisor."
All righty.
And I said, "Okay." And he left the ticket and left.
All right.
And I just got tired of going back and forth. But nobody told me, if it had its plate, if it had a specific like EL, FH. See, they didn't get into any of that with me. And all of those are company, almost like who said CDL with the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, these were all, or if it said like US 19 or US
Senate.
43. Yeah, that those don't worry about.
Yeah.
They didn't say. They said all.
Well, these people are on official business, and they're probably out there working hard for the taxpayer, and they're just parking in places that maybe they have to park that don't,
Yeah, and
so it's not really corruption. It's, they're hard at work.
I know.
Right?
But
I don't know if I.
You're telling yourself that.
Still, there's, the representative that would write the ticket. Obviously they weren't told because the person wouldn't have come in to the clerk, to have the ticket paid.
So did he pay that ticket?
No. He just walked out, and at the end of the day, I had to share, with the supervisor. I said, "This gentleman came in and
told me you don't pay
tickets." And he says, "Oh yeah, we have to fill you in on the plates that don't have to be paid." And I'm thinking, I'm arguing with this man, And then
thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, thanks for telling me now. And I would say maybe 5, 6 years later, when I got hired.
Oh, at ComEd?
At ComEd.
And you saw him? Yeah.
He was the first person I ran into.
Really? And did he remember you?
No, he didn't. But I said,
you don't pay your parking tickets.
And I said, "Dear Demas," I said, "Oh, you're the gentleman that didn't have to pay that ticket." He said, "Oh," he says, you finally got a good job now. Or something. You finally came to a good company or something like that.
Yeah.
But there are so many stories, especially growing up in Joliet and remembering people.
Yeah.
I have a story about
just about everybody.
About everybody.
Yeah. And I grew up in Rockdale and Joliet, and I loved it. I really did growing up. It's a great town. That's why I love Joliet. I still love Will County. I still love to fight. Is that what you bring to politics? Is a fight for what is right?
Well, some say I'm too kind.
Are you? Yeah?
I don't know. Some people say I'm too kind. That maybe this is the better position for me as opposed to legislation.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that I'm too kind, because I came from a neighborhood where I really had to defend myself.
Yeah. Tough neighborhood.
And it's just that a lot of the issues, a lot of the partisan issues are raised based on culture.
Okay.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like abortion, gun rights, religion, business, some of them, everybody can fall into the category.
Sure.
Some of them. But then some fall under culture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it becomes very difficult to fight. And you have to be not guilty of where you come from.
Yeah.
Not feeling that you're not forgetting where you come from is what I should say.
Sure.
Because a lot of times when you're hard on a message, your people will think that you forgot
where you came from.
Yeah. Although I know where I came from. That's why I know I want to share the same information with you.
Yeah.
But it's hard to defend issues when that's the only thing that individuals look at. She forgot where she came from. Who does she think she is?
Well, let me ask you though, because I was talking to our governor candidate a few weeks ago, and I thought he had a pretty interesting point of view. He said to win, this cycle in Illinois as a Republican, I don't think we're looking to move the independent vote or, definitely the soft Democrat vote as much as we are really just trying to encourage Republican voters to come out. Now, we'd love to have new Republican voters, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But we're really, so how does Diane Harris running for Secretary of State, how do you motivate that Republican base? What can you say that will bring them out to vote for you?
Well, that to me is simple.
Mm-hmm.
I am on the same platform as you are. I believe in the conservative voice,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I try to speak for the conservative voice. And if you see that we're not getting heard, then we need your help. Your vote is your voice. So we need your help as well to promote that same conservative voice.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. Is it time to tap into the African-American community that has been so loyal to the Democrat Party that has really oftentimes taken advantage of them?
Yeah.
Is it time for them to come over to the Republican side?
In terms of election, I think it's too soon. You know why?
Okay.
And I'm only speaking of an election cycle for
Sure.
November 3rd.
Okay.
And the reason why I think it's too soon is because early voting begins September 24th.
Yes.
The Democrats are going to come behind us, no matter how effective we have been.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming behind us. When they come behind us, all of the work that we've done is going to be overshadowed.
No, what do you mean by that? Come behind us. I'm a little confused.
In terms of our message, our voice, because what we say, and if we're able to convince some of the voters, they're going to come behind us and flip it to the Democrat.
And how do they do that? Why?
Well,
how?
Well, traditionally, Republicans are going to take your stamps.
Benefits.
Republicans are going to remove your benefits.
Snap.
Republicans are not for you. They're for the rich.
Okay.
Republicans are not here to protect. They don't care about you as a people.
The people who need help, the lower income families.
Right. But we are going to make sure we protect your whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that has been the stigmatism all along.
Yeah.
In the community.
Yeah.
And I say that and I feel that I can say it safely.
Yeah.
The word racism and Trump automatically become taboo.
Sure.
And we lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it's unfortunate because I think a lot of the what do they call them? The executive orders that were put through. Yes, they may have been put through his way, but they are what was needed many, many years ago. You know, and I think once they start to take effect, hopefully it won't be too late, you know, but when they take effect, hopefully the individuals will see it was to better, you know, a different group of people.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
For example, what do they call them? Reparations for the individuals for January 6th.
Yeah.
That may not come to fruition, but if it does, can you imagine the doors that it will open for others? Because the doors are not going to be open now for African Americans. There's just too many obstacles to go through.
Sure.
But if it's open in another capacity, then it'll make it easier down the road. And I always say, we get it any way we can. You know, if it can happen in that capacity, that would benefit African Americans, so be it.
Okay, Miss Harris, are we doing the African American community justice when we allow what's happening in Chicago with these takeovers and this lawlessness, and we're teaching the youth, whether they're black, Mexican, or white, whoever, that laws have no consequence anymore? Are we doing them justice by what's happening right now in Chicago, in Illinois, underneath the Safety Act? No. Of course we're not.
There has to be law and order.
Yes.
There has to be law and order. You know, it doesn't matter where you come from, law and order. I mean, it has to be law and order to keep the peace in the community.
Without it, we have chaos.
And, right. And public safety is and should be a priority.
That's a high priority for you. I know that. You've talked about
is.
public safety and how you're going to try to make a difference. And
oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, now we get to my job.
Good. Let's get there.
Job.
All right. Yeah.
Well, as a candidate for Secretary of State, what's important is to focus on the new drivers.
Okay.
Focus on the new drivers, the ones that are coming out of school, that are going on the road, the 16 through, I think it's 16 through 24. That's where 60% of those drivers end up in fatality.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's because they are either not trained or have not been, the importance of safety hasn't been enforced.
Okay.
And that is very important. So I want to partner, although I think they do partner with the schools now, but we want a more vigorous partnership so that the students understand that the rules of the road are the most important thing in relationship to their future.
Sure.
And because that is a future generation. And if 60% we're losing in fatalities, then we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And that's one of my platforms to partner with the high schools to make sure that those students, they come out understanding the importance of the rules of the road.
Consequences and drinking or drugs or how that plays in. Yeah. So 60% of the fatalities happen from 16 to 24 children. 24. Yeah. So we're missing something there.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's great that you're able to pick up on that and bring that to the table.
Yeah. That is that is important because the younger generation is our future.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter, where they come from. And that's what the Secretary of State's job. And that's why it's important to me because it doesn't matter who you are, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. Being safe on the road and making sure a person comes home when they leave, when they leave home and they come home safe. That's an American thing.
Yeah. God bless you for saying that. And it's so great to hear that because, I've said that running for sheriff of Will County that I've never in my 25 years went to somebody's door who called for help and said, are you a Democrat or a Republican or are you gay or lesbian, white or black? I've never once, it doesn't even enter my mind, So when you get elected to these positions, it's so important that you represent everybody.
Right.
And that's so, it's great that you even picked up on that.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to save? We all know about money. Money is such an issue.
Yeah. Well, that $885 million budget. There's
$885 million budget. Crazy.
There's 21 departments in the Secretary of State's office. Just to name a few, we have our index department. That's where everything is filed. The Secretary of State is the official record keeper of the state of Illinois. We record the proclamations, the resolutions, everything is indexed, the candidates, death certificates.
Yeah.
Marriage certificates.
I didn't know that.
All of copy of everything that is the official record keeper of the state of Illinois. All of the legislation that comes from the legislators all goes into the Secretary of State's office. That's in our index department, and everything is filed.
Wow. A lot of work. That's a large budget, too.
Yep. Yeah. And that's something that a lot of individuals don't know because it's not something that you focus on, but that's a big part of it. I mean, that is history. So, 100 years from now when, you're walking around in heaven in your white robe, a
little bit of an assumption there, but we'll go with it.
For all of us. How about that? The records, that Sheriff Jim Riley, saved, blah, 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 blah. And it will be filed as a proclamation or resolution, all of that. Historic districts, national historic sites, parks. Wow. It's all there.
And all the business licenses, right?
Oh, yeah. All of the business licenses are registered there. And the LLCs and
corporations.
All of it.
It's huge.
In the libraries, too.
Oh, yeah.
The libraries?
As a matter of fact, the
Secretary of State?
Secretary of State is the chief librarian.
You got to be kidding.
Of
I had no
all of the
idea.
libraries throughout the state of Illinois, all the public
Wow.
libraries throughout the state of Illinois, we're the ones that approve their grants.
Wow.
And we're the ones that will determine whether the whether that land can be considered historic history. The whole ball of
It's a
wax.
big office.
Yeah, it's
big
huge.
office.
It's huge.
Do you know how many employees?
Okay, 25 different departments, 4,000. What did I say? Yeah, 4,000. But yeah, I knew there were 20. I said 21, but there's 21 different departments. There's 25 different, but I think a few of them are kind of combined. But 25 different departments, 4,000 people.
Okay.
And we have 2,500 job opportunities.
Open right now?
Well, no, titles. 2,500
Different
titles.
titles. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But over 4,000 employees.
So 4,000, yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
Varied responsibilities.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
about the libraries.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all about the department heads.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I was thinking even at the local DMV, there's a ton of people work there.
I know. And there's always
And
a
then
lot.
you think how many DMVs are there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's and a lot of people do get the emissions tied in with Department of Transportation, the tolls. That's Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
All those are and the traffic speed.
Oh,
The
cameras.
cameras.
Everybody thinks that's Secretary of State, but that's Department of
Okay.
Transportation.
All right.
Oh, that's Department of
All right.
Transportation.
Okay.
It's been a long time because I've been talking a lot of
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't really know that I come from like a real
Humble beginnings. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I think that's a good
Mhm.
story.
But my parents were my father was a chauffeur.
Yeah, I remember reading that someplace.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you remember the 7-Up bottling company?
Choice.
Joyce.
Yeah, Joyce 7-Up bottling company. Well, he drove for their dad
Oh, no
for
way.
30 years.
Ain't that something?
And my life is political. Everything that I've ever dealt with has been about politics.
Yeah.
And now listen to this. And so my dad used to get cornered by the unions, because he was not a union driver.
Mm.
Oh,
And at that time, the unions were trying to develop it. They want you to be a, union man. And my dad said that Mr. Joyce was a very loyal employer. And at that time, there was a lot of racism during the 60s and stuff like that. But he always protected him.
Yeah.
If there was a place that they had to go, the car would already be identified. So that mom and dad would be safe. That was my mom's biggest pressure. Pray in the morning, make sure, dad would come home safe.
Yeah.
Because at that time, it is what it is.
Right.
But he fought through that. And the pressure was so much, but he had 30 years. So he said he was going to retire. They don't know the struggle.
Yeah.
But anyway, to make a long story short, that my dad explained to me about this union thing. He says, "Boy, those were some tough people. It was tough to deal with. Sometimes hard to get through, because he was one of many left, one of few left that had not unionized."
Mm.
And Mr. Joyce was saying, "No, you're not gonna be a union. We're not gonna do it like that." And so, he did get in an accident. Somebody hit that limo head on.
oh no.
And he always say, "I tell you, I don't know where that car came from." He said, "But God was with me." And so, he didn't go back to work. Good,
Yeah.
The mixed drink,
Yeah.
7 and 7, is what put the Joyce family really on the higher plateau financially. Prior to that, one of my relatives knew the family, and Mr. Joyce was very, very nice
The
guy.
father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, when World War II came, I'm not sure exactly when the 7 and 7 mixed drink came out. Prior to that, they did okay. But when 7 and 7 started being mixed, Seagram 7 and 7 Up, and it was around the war years. It was like quantum leap as far as the financial status of the Joyce family, because it was huge. The amount of 7-Up that was all of a sudden being bottled and sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still have like, well, maybe a couple bottles, the original bottles.
Sure.
Have seven
Oh, yeah.
people on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, he had a plate, a license plate, and it had 77 on it.
7-7.
It had 77 on it, and the limo had 77 on it. You know, we didn't look at it, races and all that kind of stuff. This was business. This was his job.
Mhm.
That's how we lived a comfortable life.
Yeah.
You know, because and everybody says, "Boy, I bet they give you guys a lot." And not to be disgraceful, but they didn't give us shit.
But how many employees are at the Secretary of State?
4,000.
About 4,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 4,000 employees,
Okay.
and I think I said earlier 21 departments. There's 25.
25 departments.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So it's a big
Yeah, it's
880
big.
million.
It's big.
Yeah.
And I remember my opponent, the primary opponent, he says she's too old.
Oh, listen to that.
Run,
yeah, I hate
to
to, my
run a
opponent did
department.
the same thing. I'm too old.
Too old to run a big department like that.
Yeah.
And
Did he know who Jesse White was? I mean,
well, I mean,
yeah.
Jesse was a little up in age,
I think he
too.
was in his 80s when he left, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So the way, you know, you have to look at that is I'm the leader is no good without good people.
Right.
So there's no way I would run 25 departments anyway. It's the department heads.
Sure.
And I want to make sure that the individuals that are in those capacities, that they are, you know, I know they got the job through the state, but they
Wanna
have
make
to
sure they're
make
qualified.
sure they're
Yeah.
qualified and ethical
Uh-huh.
and no ethics violations. And if they're open, then we want to find out why they're still open, because
Yeah.
you know, all of that is very important to the success of the state and
Sure.
to the taxpayer.
And there is something that comes through with you is just a sincerity and an honesty that just comes through. You know, really, I don't see a phony
Yeah.
or fake, you know,
Yeah.
bone in your
Well,
body.
you
So
know what?
it would be
I'm
good to bring
told-
that to the table.
Yeah, and what I'm told is it's easier. My parents used to say it's easier to tell the truth than to tell a lie, because now you have to cover the lie you're told,
There
and
you
then the
go.
other one,
There
and
you
then
go.
if you forget, now you've been revealed.
All right.
Right.
I think you got a story you wanted to tell us.
Yeah, I was just saying that how I got into politics. You know, I told you I started at City Hall, and my whole life has been political. There's the and my opponent used it against me. You know, he called me Bankruptcy Harris. You know, how can she run the state if she files bankruptcy? Okay,
Wait a second.
so
The state is bankrupt.
Maybe you bring a little
What's he talking
something.
about?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was just a tactic that they wanted to
Yeah.
use to destroy me. But and I wanted to respond to that, because that was during a time in my life I had gotten a divorce, and there were some issues I needed to resolve if I was going to keep moving forward. And bankruptcy is the American way
Mhm.
to resolve American financial issues for the family.
Sure.
If you've never been in a situation like that, then thank God for you.
Yeah.
But if you have, and the percentage, I think there were like 48% of families
That file.
that have filed bankruptcy
Yeah.
to help them get to the next step.
Yeah, I don't think bankruptcy necessarily reflects on an individual. You got
No.
medical reasons, you got financial
Yeah.
reasons, you got the 2008 real estate collapse where
Oh,
40% of the
yeah.
people were filing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
bankruptcies. There were
Yeah.
some big names. I mean,
Oh yeah,
very responsible
Yeah.
people. So
yeah,
no, bankruptcy is like you say, it's it's out there. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of our government. It's kind of gives you a reset in life. And sometimes, oftentimes it's associated with people who have been out there doing stuff or in business or being a self-starter or being someone, that's taking chances. And that's what America's all about. They make fun of Donald Trump, he's 10 bankruptcy. But he's owned hundreds of businesses. They're not going to all be home runs. We have to have that ability. Yeah. So I would laugh that off. I don't think
it's the American way. But it was difficult for me not to respond.
Sure.
Because it was a sad moment in my life.
Yeah.
And for them to use that.
Well, welcome to politics, right? Right? Welcome to politics. Yeah.
And
don't even have to be true.
Well, true.
Yeah.
Right.
They use it in politics.
Yeah. And then, when I say my life was is really political. I had 3 children and they all grew up in the public schools. And there was this thing called DARE, the DARE program. You guys remember that? What did it mean?
Drug awareness, resistance, education or something.
Right. And they were, not to throw my ex under the bus, but he's a great person, a Navy veteran, and he had a back injury.
Okay.
And so the only pain reliever was like the marijuana.
Okay.
And at that time, it wasn't legal.
Sure.
So, and we had kids in the house.
Okay.
And I'm like, boy, this is a conflict. How do I deal with this?
Yeah.
It was more of what the people thought as opposed to me focusing on the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we divorced because of that.
Oh,
that's really in my opinion, a political thing because it was illegal, but it was all the veterans had issues.
Oh, very common. With the veterans.
And they, were the ones that, were the head of the households and, running the families. And, but I couldn't get beyond the legality of it. And some of the women, you have to ignore that. If that relieves your husband pain, then you have to learn to ignore that. But my focus was the legality.
Wow.
And so,
and
that to me is political because what is it now?
Legal. As long as we figured out how to tax it, we're A-okay. Yeah.
So, and it's funny how a lot of the political structures destroy families, and really it does. Some of it does and I don't want to get into a lot of things, but, it just does.
Yeah.
It just does. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's why it's important that we focus on individuals who focus on family first and the conservative value and the religion and to make sure that we are focused on the American way.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Good.
And I think we've gotten so far away from it. Yeah. And that's where we see all of our problems. For example, I sub in the high schools. The kids don't even stand for the pledge. You got the teachers standing and thinking, and I can't tell them.
No.
I cannot tell them, and I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And we need that. That's what they need.
Where's IT? IT. This is how I met IT is I taught and she was my, she worked at the same high school vocational school. And we would do the pledge. And you're right, I can't make them stand.
Yeah.
But anybody that didn't stand, I immediately threw out of my classroom because I can do that. So you only got to throw. I just get out of my classroom. I'm not teaching you. Get the hell out of here. And I could do that. I could throw them up.
Were you on the second floor or something when you threw them up?
No. But I just told them they had to leave. Yeah.
The only thing
I think there are things we could and probably should be doing because who's running the classroom then? If you're, we're teaching these children, they don't have to stand. For what reason are they not standing? Right?
Yeah. See, I don't quite know.
Yeah.
But,
I
But
say
I
you
did
stand or you
mandate,
go out in the hallway or
yeah,
whatever.
I did mandate that they do not talk
Hmm.
because some would continue to talk. And I said, as your sub, when I'm in this classroom,
Oh.
if you don't want to stand for the pledge,
Hmm.
you may not speak while it's being recited.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and I did get that, but
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
alarmed by that, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, we just have to focus on our
That may be a whole nother rabbit hole, how we've kind of allow some people to turn their back on America and they don't even understand, they're out there walking for Palestine and their gay pride and they would kill you over there if you went there. Do you know that?
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's unfortunate we've lost some of our moral fabric. And here, I think our president, I don't know if you saw what he's done in Washington, cleaning up Washington and fixed the reflection pool. And they say now the fountains are working and he's kind of beautified Washington, D.C. How do you not respect that? I think, right? I mean, he's trying to do the right thing.
Right.
So what are you going to bring to the office? I understand you want to save the veterans and seniors some money.
Yeah.
How are you
I'd
going
like
to do that?
I'd like to do that.
How?
We can work with the legislators to make sure that we write it into. Well, first of all, I want to identify the waste and the fraud.
All right.
You know, I know.
You think there is some right now?
Well, I don't know.
Mhm.
But there are some sketchy past of our incumbent that has been brought to the public.
All right.
So I just want to take a look.
Mhm.
I do know that the
Rinsing audits.
that too, but I do know that there is a new act that Washington has put forth that J.D. Vance will be leading on its Waste and Fraud Act.
Okay.
And they're going through every single state.
Nice.
I hope they get to Illinois before election.
Right. Yeah. Within the next 24 months.
That would be great.
Mhm.
But just to go through and take a look at the budget line by line, because I'm familiar with that.
Sure.
I've looked at
Kind of your
budgets.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've looked at budgets at the college and at the library.
We overlooked that. You're currently elected position at the college, Joliet Junior College.
Yeah.
And what's that?
My third year. But let me finish the of what we want to look at. And so when we look at those items, you have to question some things. Do we need this? Do we not need this? Is this redundant? Are these the same charges?
Right.
And I'm sure going through that, what we can do is reallocate some of that to relieve some of the seniors and the veterans.
Okay.
And that's a first. That's first because every car a senior has, they have to pay for that, and they're on a fixed income. It could be challenging. So that's one major goal. And I have to work with the legislators to do that because, again, the Secretary of State doesn't legislate anything. We're just a highfalutin secretary that keeps the files and gives records.
Who sets the fee amount? I think I paid $151 or something to renew my license plate. Who sets that fee?
That's
Legislation?
set by legislation, the fees.
Yeah.
All of the taxing structure, all of that, and the fee structure, all that's set.
Okay.
But we can pursue legislation for that. That's why I'm hoping that all of the legislators that are running get in, especially like around here, Dr. Nona Parker. And
great lady.
What's her name? Christine McGovern up in Northern. And there's another Lupe Castillas and Shanahan out in Plainfield. All of those, we need those individuals, that are focused on conservatism and helping, reduce things for seniors and veterans.
Okay.
But we can't do it alone. Secretary of State just can't do it alone, And before I get into the other, do you want me to move on, or you had a question?
No, we kind of skipped over. We should, you're elected right now to the Joliet Junior College Board.
Currently a trustee. And I've been a trustee for April. It was 3 years. Was elected, 3 years, and it was 7 counties. And I'm an alumni from Joliet Junior College.
Okay.
So it was a proud moment, to be elected there. And I was happy to be elected. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Everybody, everywhere you go, someone has a story about Joliet Junior College.
We all went to Joliet Junior College. I know I went there.
Everybody has a story.
Everybody's
got a story about Joliet Junior College. Even when we go on our conferences all over the state, and then all over the nation, someone has a story about Joliet Junior College.
One of the first junior colleges in the nation, right?
College in the nation. And we started at my alma mater, Joliet Central.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
I graduated from Joliet Central in 1974.
All right.
And in 1901, that's where Joliet Junior College was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll be there.
So,
will you have to step down from that position when you're elected?
Well, I am waiting. I have a call in to our official attorney. Hello, Brian Hoopman, if you're listening. He's the chairperson. He used to be the chairperson over at
Troy Township. Yeah.
So he's our
Brian
attorney.
Koopman.
And so he's checking on that.
Okay.
But
you're going to be busy, though. I mean, you are going to be busy.
Yeah, but it's only once, and it's on a second Wednesday. And, in Springfield, I could come back because I plan to maybe have a place there and come back on the weekends.
Okay.
Just so, I don't lose touch with Joliet. I love Joliet.
Yeah.
I'm a Joliet. I've never left Joliet, just love Joliet.
I get it.
But, and then also I'm on the Joliet Public Library Board.
Okay.
And I've been there since 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And currently I'm their treasurer.
Oh.
And we hadn't done anything to that library since 1968.
Really? The downtown library?
Yeah, downtown library. And then we did a huge renovation, and I was a big project. Our director did a wonderful job, overseeing that. But anytime you spend money, the taxpayers get bent out of shape, especially if they don't understand what's going on. Now, since 1968, nothing had been spent. And then when we did spend it, it was our own bonds.
Okay.
So we were able to utilize those with the help of, at the time, Senator Pat McGuire, and so we ended up naming a room after him.
Oh, nice.
But the voters were bent out of shape. The library wants to spend all this money. We've had that. We've been holding it since 1968. And in order to be competitive and help our kids achieve, we need to have updated and enhanced resources.
Sure.
And computers, everything. So when they come in, they're not using antiquated equipment. And, it was just, it was time. 1968, it was time.
Yeah.
So we were glad to be able to do that. And that board doesn't have as much controversy as a junior college. But I won't even get into that.
Yeah.
That's why I've been able to sit there so long, but 2016. But
yeah. And I think people often overlook the libraries. But if you go in a library nowadays, I'm amazed they are packed. Really, there are a ton of people that go in there for resources or fax machines or copies. And, they really are busy. The downtown library or Black Road Library is always busy. So a lot of people use that as a resource. I think we just have the two in Joliet. Or do we have another one? Yeah,
no,
just the two. Yeah. So that's an important position. Yeah. What else do you want to talk about there, Ms. Harris?
Customer service.
Okay.
Appointments.
No more appointments?
You got to go.
Yeah, just walk in?
That's the plan.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we used to do.
That's a big thing, though, because I'm assuming going to appointments was probably maybe thought that would help people.
Well, during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I think that did develop, during COVID.
Okay.
So I think as long as we're focused on the individuals, the internal controls, people are back to work.
Okay.
And we're no longer at home and focused on whatever it is we were focused on in 2020. We should be able to get people in and out.
So you're saying now you can't walk into a Secretary of State?
No.
You have to have an appointment.
You have to have an appointment.
Oh, I didn't know
I've
that.
I've had witnesses, people tell me, you got to change that appointment process.
Yeah.
A couple people. The gentleman said to me that he went in and he wasn't aware of the appointment process. And when he went in, there was no one there. And he said what he needed to do is you have to make an appointment. So
Is
he
this
said,
like reservations at the restaurant?
Right, he
There's
looked
nobody
around.
there, but you got to have
He said,
reservations. Yeah.
He said, an
Uh,
appointment?
yeah.
He says, what, can I do it now? There's
Yeah.
no one here.
Go to the car, make an appointment.
So
Yeah.
you have to make an appointment.
Mm.
And then I've had people to say that, and they're really adamant about this because what happens is, Jim, when you make the appointment, now you may have to take off from work to do your business. And then when you get there, sometimes you even have to wait with the appointment.
Oh, geez.
So it's like, well, what's going on?
Why
You
have
know?
an appointment?
And then too, when individuals who are not tech savvy and they have to go into the system to make an appointment,
Yeah.
that could be very distressful.
Sure.
You know,
That's true. A lot of your older people
Yeah,
aren't
the
tech
older-
savvy.
right.
You know, everybody assumes everybody's got a computer. A lot of
Right.
older people that I know don't have one.
Exactly.
They wouldn't know what to do
Yeah.
anyway if they
Right.
did have one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then too, if they don't have, someone there, like not all seniors have, a young person to help them navigate through the
Sure.
system. And it's just totally unfair.
Yeah.
And they still can get a ticket for not having a license. So
Yeah.
this is something that has to be done. So it's not serving the people well. And then I had another experience that I had to deal with. My 82-year-old matriarch of the family. I was matriarch, patriarch. So she would be the matriarch of the family.
Okay.
She said, Diane, I need to go get my license. And they need to verify who I am. I said, okay, no problem. So I'm thinking, just up the corner around the street there. And so she says, can you pick me up? I said, 11 o'clock. Or I said, okay, yeah. What time's your appointment? She says 3.
3.
And I'm like, 3? I'm like, why am I picking you up so
It's
early?
in St. Louis.
And she says, well, I
Wow.
have a distance to go to. So I just thought maybe she was a little confused. And I did get her at 11. And I headed to Joliet.
Sure.
And she says, here's the address. It was in Lombard.
Huh?
I'm like, why are we? I said, I knew then she was confused. I said, why are we going to Lombard? And she said, well, this is the appointment that they gave me. I said, appointment? Because see, I hadn't heard of any of this myself at that
Yeah.
time. I said, appointment? I said, oh, this is crazy. And I called and I waited and I waited. And I said, I'll just take her up there because maybe there's something else going on. And sure enough, and the reason why we had to leave early because they had already told her that there was traffic on 55.
Oh, geez.
So we did run into traffic. And I think we got there at about maybe 1:45. And so I says, well, let me go in first. And I said, because I didn't want to embarrass her. I said, my aunt is here and does she need an appointment? Yes. And she has to have an appointment before we will see her. I'm thinking, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
This is a Secretary of State's office. It's a people serving governmental office. Why
Yeah.
are people making appointments?
Yeah.
And then the lady says, yeah, you have to talk to you have to talk to our Secretary of State. I said, oh, so that's what's going on here. I said, there needs some changes. There could be some
There you
changes
go.
to be made. And so I started thinking about it. And
Was that the day the light bulb went
that
on?
was the day.
That was the
That
day,
I
right?
told you my life was political. That was the day.
I could
And
fix
so-
this problem. Make me wait 2 hours.
So I ended up all the way home. I said, this is crazy. And I said, so how did you navigate? She says, oh, my neighbor had me sit there and ask the questions. She said it kept hanging up. It kept disconnecting. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And I told her, I said, I'm going to run. She said, oh, not again. And I'm thinking, here, I'm helping you when you're already, because they've already gone through the 5 races already, right? But so, and then of course I called Chrissy. I said, listen, I got this idea on down the road in Springfield. Hey, we don't have anyone, so go for it.
Good.
So that's
There
how
you go.
all that
There
came
you go.
about, but
Getting in to
Right.
fix the problem. We got to
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
We respect that. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
yes.
So you bring a lot to the table, Miss Harris. You really do. And I, have nothing but respect. And I think you would make a fantastic Secretary of State.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah.
Probably better than maybe a legislator because I'm still a little timid.
Sure.
Need to heat up.
Well, I'm sure the job will toughen you up in no
Yes.
time at all.
Well, no, I think the lower the fees and then, the election integrity.
Oh, there you go.
You know, when individuals register to vote, that's where it all takes place.
No, geez, here we go. This will be a rabbit hole.
That's
Wait, what?
where it
Yeah,
all takes
register to
place.
vote. Yeah,
When you
yeah.
register to vote,
Yeah.
the way they had it is when you come and get your license, then you register to vote, and
Sure.
nobody asks any questions. And now all of a sudden, you get your license and your voter's card in the mail. Like, well, who is this person?
Now, is it true they're
So-
giving driver's license in Illinois to, again, undocumented immigrants?
Well,
They can get a driver's license?
well, yeah.
Yeah.
it
So
was
there's
written-
potentially 4 million people that have gotten driver's licenses that are undocumented.
Well, I unfortunately I don't know the number.
Yeah, but
I
I'm just
should
saying,
have asked
potentially.
that,
No.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But-
Yeah. Well, there's
Can't-
8.
The logical
speak
question
English,
there
can't
is
read, can't read or write.
Can't read it right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
just
Yeah.
in addition to the driver's license, did they get their voter's card too?
There you
Yes,
go.
and that's the thing. They
Do
get
they
the vote.
really?
Yeah.
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 So you're
But
an
the SAVE
undocumented immigrant. You're here in the state of Illinois, kind of walked across the border with absolutely no check or balance. You wind up in the state of Illinois. You walk in to get your driver's license, even though you're not a U.S. citizen, and you're given a registration to vote. Why would that be?
Well, that's part of the process. Yeah. See, that's part of the process. But we're gonna stop that. The process has to be changed because when you register, when you drive, when you get your license, first of all, you should be a legal citizen.
Okay.
And to vote, if you're not a legal citizen, we're not moving that clock forward.
Okay.
It stops right there.
Okay.
And
So you can do that as Secretary of State. You can do that.
We can do that at the registration process. If you don't
Sure.
have the proper identification,
A vote for Diane Harris might be a voter for election integrity.
a vote for Diane Harris is a vote for election integrity.
Oh, I like to hear that. Yeah, I like to hear that.
Yeah, because that's important. I always say one person, one vote.
There. Well,
Because
that's
we
you must be a Republican.
and when I first announced that I was running, my platform was to work with other governmental agencies so that we can bump these records against each other, especially by the Social Security number, because if you're being paid, if you're receiving a Social Security check and you're in the records as dead, but you're voting, we got a problem, a big problem.
You would think. Yeah.
So every system should match.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, the red flags should come up.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be able to enter anything else and stop it right there. But it all starts at the Secretary of State's office. So we're not going to register the vote and get a license at the same time. That's it.
Now I heard a while back that up to 20%, 1 in 5 CDLs, which is these are the people driving the big semis down the road. Up to 20% are undocumented immigrants. Is that true?
That is true. And
That's
that
true.
was confirmed by the Department of Transportation.
So 1 in 5 people driving these big semis.
Yeah.
And-
20% of illegal immigrants are driving with CDLs.
Mhm.
And that is definitely a bad situation.
Bad
for More
situation.
than one reason. But for one is, it makes it difficult to navigate.
If you can't read and write English,
read the rules of the road.
seems like that
And
would be
then-
important.
Yeah. And then that goes back to the strenuous learning of the rules of the road. And, like I say, with the new drivers, the 16 to 24-year-old,
Mhm.
it's just as bad with some, or even worse in a big rig like that. And you're not knowing, how to read
Yeah.
the rules of the road.
Yeah.
And there has been, unfortunately, fatalities as a result of that.
Sure.
And the state and the national Hedgewich, is he the gentleman that's
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary? Yes, has asked for all states to show the road registrations, driver's registration, and it
Okay.
got down to the Department of Transportation. And right now we're at a standoff with our Department of Transportation because our
We're not cooperating?
current Secretary of State didn't feel he did anything wrong by issuing the CDLs. And so he will not provide the documents. So we're at a standoff right now, and we could lose $128 million. Funding.
182?
128.
Is it 128 million?
Yeah.
And we could lose that from the federal government unless we come in compliance.
That's right.
Do you plan on coming into compliance?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Every request from another governmental agency, as long as it's like this is for safety reasons.
Sure.
As long as it's for reasons that will benefit the people.
Because if you give a CDL out in the state of Illinois, they're allowed to drive in other states, right?
Yeah.
So they could drive into Missouri or Kansas or...
They can drive, but their rules there may be totally different. But the issuing state would be responsible for whatever the images was.
Has there been fatalities as a result?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there has been.
Well, I have a question for you, Jim, regarding that from a legal standpoint. As a Will County deputy sheriff, for instance, or a municipal policeman, if you pull over a trucker or a tail light being out or speeding over the limit, and you are able to discern that, in fact, they're not able to speak English or read English, and knowing that CDLs should not have been granted, can you write a ticket or do anything about it?
Boss, the way that is right now is there is currently in Illinois the ability by Illinois state troopers will come in and they have a kind of a Q&A type scenario where they interview these truckers to see if they can read, write, understand the English, language. Local and municipal law enforcement can't do that at this time. It's only the Illinois state troopers. And maybe as Secretary of State, that would be something you might look at is, just to see what, how we could expand upon that. We just want to make sure everybody out there driving these semis in downtown Joliet and, just because you're downtown Joliet, the Joliet officer should really be able to do the same thing to see if they're qualified to drive.
You would think.
And right now it's kind of falling on the state troopers.
And if you're a state trooper and perhaps the governor's stance is to turn a blind eye towards it, you'd worry about jeopardizing your job, perhaps, if you followed through with something like that, wouldn't you?
I hope not, boss. I hope that's not the case. We're really seeing the difference between our government and law enforcement are kind of at heads in the sense that we're out there trying to do the right thing and follow the laws. And you're seeing some of these political administrators just kind of trying to encourage us to curtail or turn our back. And the truth is, we just need, to get back to more community policing and less politics.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody should write a book.
And before we get to the book, I do want to add one other thing.
Yes.
Did you guys know that the Illinois Secretary of State has their own police department?
I did. I knew that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No,
You
I
didn't
did
know
not.
that? Okay.
What do they do?
Yeah.
Miss Harris, what do they do?
They protect the Secretary of State.
all of the governmental buildings throughout the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
So
I think they oversee like licensing infractions and dealerships, and Secretary of State has, some policing authorities.
They investigate the carjacking.
Yes.
And
stolen cars.
Yeah, the stolen cars.
Anything that kind of falls underneath the driver's license, fraudulent activity, cars. They pretty wide scope. Some of those guys are really brilliant. Yeah. Kind of a good police program.
Also, the Secretary of State's also for the Capitol Police in Springfield.
Do they really? Oh, they'll sub for them? Fill in, you mean?
No, they are.
They are under the
Oh, the Capitol Police are Secretary of State.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
State.
Okay. So they do
Yeah.
security at the Capitol building. Yeah,
Right,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all the Capitol.
So you
public
oversee a
buildings.
police agency too.
Mhm.
All right. So you're going to be able to kind of,
Well, I know where I can get
Carry
some
a-
pointers from.
carry a badge and gun. Yeah. Yeah. Miss Harris will be out there pulling people over. Yeah.
No.
In that white Corvette.
No. That's
So,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So look, I think it's fantastic. And I mean, I just want to again call you out and say it's so great for us to have a African-American female Republican running for Secretary of State who was born in Joliet and public housing. I mean, that is the American dream. You are the picture of the American dream.
Yeah.
And,
I might add that I would be the first female
Secretary
of State in the state of Illinois.
I didn't know that.
You know what just came into my mind, though? Every time we go into a Secretary of State office to get my driver's license renewed, there's going to be a boutique in there.
That's right.
So this will be a whole new problem.
And you're going to have to dress up.
Yeah, get your nails done. They'll be getting, So, will we need appointments for the boutique, or we can walk in? What do you think?
Like unmade beds.
Yeah, before you get your picture taken, right, for your driver's license. There you go.
Well, I will say one thing: you have to smile on that drive.
Is that going to be a rule?
That is gonna be a rule.
Smile.
That is going to be a rule.
Yeah.
That
That's
has to be a rule.
good advice.
Everybody talks about the driver's license. They they don't smile, and
Yeah.
like you got to smile.
Yeah.
And when they're out of town and they see that driver's license, they'll say, "That's Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Illinois."
They smile.
They're smiling.
Yeah.
Why would that be? Kind of not something you'd expect.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. For sure. So you bring so much, and again, just on as far as being kind of a co-conspirator in a political agenda with you, it's always been a pleasure. And I respect and admire you, and I think we all wish you the best of luck.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And you would make a fantastic Secretary of State.
Thank you.
You bring so much to the table. So
Thank you. Can I add one other
you
thing?
can do whatever you want.
I'm coming to your event on the 7th.
Oh, in July.
July.
Well, maybe I should plug that. July 7th at Corrigan's, July 7th at Corrigan's Pub in Shorewood.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Bailey is coming out to show support for first responders,
Right.
all our law enforcement, firemen, dispatchers.
Mm-hmm.
Darren Bailey has been fantastic with showing support. And I know he's a huge, huge proponent of the Safety Act, which has just been a disaster. I have nothing but respect and admiration for Darren Bailey. I think he's out there doing a great job. I think he'd make a great, great governor, certainly 10 times better than what we have now. And he's coming out for a free event. We're not even charging, which I thought was great for Darren. He's a man of the people. And July 7th at Corrigan's Pub in Shorewood, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, I think it is. But you can check my website. It's RileyForSheriff.com or Facebook, Jim Riley for Sheriff. And come out to Corrigan's Pub. And I'm hoping we get a bunch of good first responders out there, and police and fire. And the Democrats have been very mean to us and ugly towards law enforcement. And I will say to my law enforcement brothers and sisters that are out there supporting Democrats, I just don't understand it. I mean, I think it was J.B. Pritzker. Was it him or Brandon Johnson called us jackbooted thugs and Nazis, and just very, very disparaging to law enforcement who are out there risking our lives every day to protect our communities, and to just have them kind of spit on us the way they do. And then to see my law enforcement brothers and sisters out there supporting Democrats, any Democrat, as far as I'm concerned. Really, I just think we should send a strong message that we respect law enforcement. We respect, people need to be held accountable for criminal activities, and we need law and order. And without it, we have chaos, and we need to get rid of the Safety Act. And Darren Bailey has said he's going to fight against everything he can to get rid of the Safety Act. So I just don't understand my, law enforcement brothers and sisters who support any Democrat, and I know that's a blanket coverage, but too bad, Yeah, that's what happens when you call all law enforcement jackbooted thugs. That's what happens when you call all law enforcement Nazis. It just shows us you don't respect us, so I have no respect for you. And I think in my youth, like you, maybe I could have been a Democrat, but that's really what makes me a Republican. Is a 25-year veteran in law enforcement. Is the way the Democrats treat us is horrible, and I have no respect for anybody who doesn't like law enforcement. So July 7th, Corrigan's Pub, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Darren Bailey's coming out and just showing his love for law enforcement. And that's what we need in the governor's office, is someone who respects us. We do have another one coming up that, I could get in there, is September 5th. September 5th in Simmerton. There's a little pub, Simmerton Tap, and we're kind of doing a Republican Day. We got a great band called Charlie Stewart. I think they're called Silver Strings. Great band.
Very popular.
Yeah, very popular. I hope that September 5th is a Saturday, but that's what it is. And again, I think that's like 3 to 7. We're calling it the Republican Day, Simmerton Pub, September 5th, 3 to 7. And we're really just getting out to show support for Republicans. We got 2 people running for Will County Board District, Katie Schlotman and Deb Militello. Schlotman is on the Will County Board now and does a fantastic job. Deb Militello, I know, is a good friend of yours. She she will make a great fan. She was on the Will County Board, and she'll be hopefully reelected here. We need to take back control of the Will County Board by the Republicans. And once again, I just, go back 3-4 months ago where the Democrats wanted to raise taxes here in Will County, and the Republican board members really stood up and said, no more raising taxes, and kind of held the line, and they were unable, the Democrats, to raise taxes. Tax and spend Democrats, that's what they are. And again, we just, we got to get Republicans on these Will County boards and these local countywide offices and statewide offices, and just bring common sense back to Illinois. I mean, we've really lost it. I just don't know how you walk in that voting booth nowadays and vote for a Democrat. And the shame is there are some good Democrats. There's some good Democrats out there and good people, but you get caught in the mix. And as far as I'm concerned, during election season, it's us versus you. It's David versus Goliath. And I'm always going to be 100% Republican. And, when you win office and when I win office as sheriff, then that'll have to come down and we work with, the winners. We will, and I'll gladly reach across the aisle and work with a Democrat, once we're elected, for the betterment of the people of Will County, But during battle,
it's tough.
Vote Republican. Straight vote Republican. Really?
Right.
How's it working? Taxpayers in Illinois? How's it working? How's your Democrat controlled state since the early 60s? How's it working out for you?
Makes for great Saturday Night Live skits.
It does. Yeah. 57 times J.B. Pritzker has introduced taxes since he's been on. 57.
Yeah, 57.
I mean,
yeah. It's
so
terrible.
if we don't see a red wave here in 2026 here in the state, I just don't understand it.
No, I don't understand it either. I mean, the raise of taxes is not beneficial to the working people. The focus is, tax the rich. But the problem with the taxation is it doesn't affect the rich. It affects the poor.
Of course it does.
And that's the part we're missing. We're only, when I say we, I mean the voters that are focused on tax the rich. Well, that's not working for you. That's not working for you, because if it were working for you, we wouldn't be in the situation, because there's only
and the rich are moving out of the state.
Rich. We're talking
makes
about
the situation worse.
Makes the situation worse. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's left on the working man and the poor.
Yeah. And look at the parties in power, right? Go up to Minnesota, Illinois, and just look at the waste, fraud, and abuse. And I really hope you're right. I hope we do get somebody to come into the state of Illinois and take a look at what's happening. I think they just sent the governor of Minnesota, Waltz. I think they just sent him to Department of Justice for review. Apparently, he knew this fraud was occurring and kind of turned a blind eye. I almost say this daily, but I'm so tired of hearing about waste, fraud, and abuse. I want to see some people in handcuffs.
something
I really do.
Yeah.
And if it starts with that governor up there that turned his blind eye or knew about fraud and did nothing about it because he was afraid it would come off as racist. That's what I think I heard. So are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'll go back to the Will County Senior Center is filing for bankruptcy because we have no money. And yet we have people in Minneapolis, Minnesota driving around in Ferraris that just stealing money from our government. When's enough? When do we get there? And I got a little secret for you, be it a guy who worked in law enforcement for 25 years, and a large part of that was undercover operations and dealing with political corruption and dealing with crime. The first to squeal gets the deal. So all you corrupt politicians here in the state of Illinois, the first to squeal gets the deal. Start coming forward. Let's clean up the state. Let's start, kind of revealing some of this fraud and some of this waste and some of this abuse. And God bless. Let's see some people in handcuffs. Just so tired of the corruption.
Yeah. Because like I say, it hurts the
average guy, the you and me, right?
Yeah.
J.B. Prisker has allegedly $100 million house down in Bahamas. Does he have a clue about the working man? You got to be kidding me.
You can't identify.
Doesn't even have a clue. And I'm not even going to disparage the guy, but let's get Darren Bailey in there. A working man, a man who's had dirty hands, a good, American farmer.
Yeah.
Someone who's going to understand the working man, someone who's honest, someone who has integrity like yourself.
And sincerity. And compassion.
Yeah.
Dick, didn't that come true?
Yep.
Dick and I were out, and Dr. Egan were out a few weeks ago with Darren at an event, and I think that really came true to me with Darren Bailey is his compassion.
Yep. And his wife.
And his wife, Cindy, was awesome. Yeah.
Very sincere.
Yes.
Spiritual guy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Spiritual. Yeah. And that's a guy who's going to get into office, and look, he's not going to hit the ground running. Nobody's, naive here. It's going to be a learning curve, but to have someone with the honesty and integrity and someone who's not bought and paid for, God, what a possibility we have in front of us.
Yeah.
And if we turn around and reelect Pritzker, I've said it before. People, you get what you get what you deserve. Right? But that's why we need you in office as well. Diane Harris, Secretary of State. Dickie, you got anything?
No.
Doctor? All right, Doctor. Thank you again for coming out 12 days straight working. Yeah. So thank you guys. Miss Harris, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out here today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I look forward to working with you in the future.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.